Hello, welcome to my presentation on designing M&E system for public institutions. And in today's video, I'll be talking about basic concepts in M&E. My name is John Mwingila. I work for the Tanzania Medicines and Medical Devices under Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation section. But in this presentation, I will be acting as an M&E expert or coach. You can call me whatever you like, whether I'm M&E expert or a coach or both, no problem with that. And when you hear that newborn mortality rate in a country has gone down maybe by 30%, or sometimes when you hear that the percentage of children attending primary school in a certain country, maybe in our country, has for the past 2 years maybe has increased from 70% to 80%, one may ask, how were these statistics obtained? But the answer is simple, that these type of statistics and others of similar nature usually results from monitoring and evaluation efforts. That's why I've decided to talk with you guys on how you can design an M&E system, particularly for public institutions. Then what is M&E? In a simple definition, M&E is just a process whereby we collect and analyze information in order to get information that is useful for policymakers, projects or program managers, and the other institutions, so as to improve project planning, management, and decision making. That's a very brief definition of M&E. So, because we are talking about developing M&E systems, it's better we understand what a system means. A system is a set of things working together as parts of the whole than its individual parts. This is the very important concept anyone who is thinking of developing M&E system should have. We need to have several organs, each organ performing its role, so that when we combine them, we have to achieve a common goal. That is what a system is. Think about maybe human body as a system. We have several systems. We have several organs. Say like we have the digestive system, the respiratory system, and maybe the musculoskeletal system. These all systems working together, they are the ones making human body as an individual. Or when you look at the vehicle as a system, comprised of different systems, you can see we have the fuel system, the braking system, steering system, so many systems, cooling system. All these systems, when they perform their role correctly, then the vehicle will move. So the message we are getting from this is that when we are establishing the M&E system, we must make sure that we have so many individuals involved, so many components with different expertise, with different backgrounds, so that each of them performing his or her role, so that we have a system that will be functional. Otherwise, if you think maybe the M&E system is just for a certain cadre, that system will not work. Let's say, for example, if you think the system is for the economists alone, you forget about other people. It means you will just confine yourself on issues of economics and don't consider others. Likewise, if you think maybe the M&E system is just for engineers, then you will concentrate on the engineering aspects, but you will forget others. It means you need so many guys to be involved. You need to have the people with no background on data collection. You need to have people with background on report writing, so that the system will work. That's a very important point to note when you think of establishing a functional M&E system, particularly in government institutions. And Then what is the M&E system? An M&E system, in brief, is the principles that guide systematic and effective collection, analysis, and application of M&E information. So basically, in an M&E system, we need to have a systematic way of collecting data, analyzing, and making use of that information so that we can improve the performance of either a project or a program, so that we have the desired end of the project, or desired objectives or outcomes or results. So each system has its dimensions. So successful M&E system has three major dimensions. The first dimension is the quality of data. Any M&E system need to have a good quality data that have been collected using methods that are not questionable. Good quality data. 2, method and techniques. 2, utilization of M&E information. Then, as much as we collect data, we analyze data, we produce information, then the M&E, to be successful, it has a mechanism of using that information. Again, it needs to be sustainable. We need to have systems that are sustainable. And for the system to be sustainable, we should make sure that we use the existing system to penetrate our M&E issues rather than coming up with a new system. Normally, new system, they normally don't work. We need to establish, to anchor on the existing system, so that using the same system, we come up with our M&E concepts or system in our public institutions. Then why M&E is important in public institutions? Well, M&E plays several roles in a public institution. One of the roles is that M&E system improve performance within organization. Another, it improves transparency and accountability. But again, M&E promote professionalism and the systematic management of organization. It's where now organization can make decisions that are based on data, not just making subjective information. So the subjective decision, usually decision made based on M&E data or M&E information, are very objective. 3, 4, M&E promote evidence-based decision making. Well, that is what I was talking about. And also, M&E, if it's well performed, ensure the effective resource allocation. You can allocate resources effectively if you use M&E data or M&E information. Then, briefly, let us look at the M&E system in developing countries. When I'm saying developing countries in this presentation, I'm referring to those countries with poverty reduction strategies. Any country with poverty reduction strategies, like in our case in Mukukuta and Tho, we call it developing countries in this case. So, in these countries, the M&E system, actually the countries are not yet committed on the M&E systems. They are doing monitoring, but they are not well committed on the system. In other terms, in other words, they are not functional, they are not effective. But again, the M&E system, if they are designed, normally they are designed to meet donors' requirement. You will find that when the projects are funded by donors like World Bank or the USAID, you will be surprised. They have the M&E system because the donors forces the countries to establish the M&E system just for the sake of their project, not for our use. And also, normally the system focuses on inputs and not outputs, and on inputs and outputs. It means they are input or output oriented. Nobody is interested on the results. We are just interested on the outputs or inputs. No one is interested on the outcomes and the impacts. What I mean here, when we are constructing a bridge, what we are interested in most cases in these countries, poverty reduction, countries with poverty reduction strategies like ours, people will be interested to see whether the resources are correctly used, where we will find the auditors going for auditing. But again, they will be interested to see whether the bridge has been constructed. Nobody will be interested to see what will happen after the bridge has been constructed. You have constructed the bridge, so are we getting the results? Are we getting the impact out of that bridge? Or if we've constructed a building, a multi-story building, 10-story building, are we getting the results from that building? Nobody is interested in that. Once the building is built, nobody is interested in to know whether we are getting the results or not. So this is the typical characteristics of the M&E system in developing countries. And this is the reason why I've decided to share with you guys how we can establish the systems then that will focus on the results rather than the inputs and the outputs only. So for the case of our government, we have the good sign because for the first time in this year, we have come up with what we call the monitoring and evaluation strategy. At least it tries to stretch it to show how the M&E issues should be addressed. We can monitor now and evaluate our 5 years development plan 3 through this strategy. At least it's a good indication. Then best practices for developing M&E system for public institutions. If you want to develop an effective M&E system for public institutions, you need to undergo 3 steps. One, it is diagnosis of the existing M&E system, where you focus on the demand side and the supply side. The demand, it is the management part, which of course they need to get a lot of advocacy on importance of M&E. But again, we need to check on the supply, that is the technical-ish people performing the M&E duties. In this aspect, we need to see whether there is a need for capacity building, as we know that M&E is a new concept. Well, we've all studied a bit about M&E in our courses, whether undergraduate or postgraduate programs, but for sure that was just for making us understand the concepts. But if we want to be to put in practice, actually you need to go further and develop skills so that you can make the system, the M&E, operational at your work. So it's a new thing. Second, you need to develop an action plan, M&E action plan, and here we need the champions. This will create an avenue that will lead to desired destination for an M&E system. And you need to create incentives for M&E conducting and the use of M&E information. People must be given incentives on when they conduct and on conducting and using M&E information. When I'm saying incentive, it's not necessarily to be money, but just making sure that when they collect information, when they develop M&E system, M&E information, that information is used. Otherwise, you will demoralize them. They will not be interested anymore to do M&E work. The third step is to establish or with a strengthened M&E system based on the information we got from the diagnosis and the action plan we have developed. then we can establish or strengthen existing M&E so that it becomes more effective. Yes. But another thing I want to share with you this time is that when we are talking about M&E system, don't focus only on online system. An M&E system can either be manual or can be online. Don't just focus. A lot of people, when you say about system, they just think about the electronic thing. Not. System can be manual as well. And it is recommended to start with a manual system. When you make sure that your system now has stabilized, then you can just convert it into electronic form. Because electronic system require a lot of investment. So if you are not careful, you'll be developing system that will not work and you will be wasting your time, your money. Hello, for today, let's stop here. But don't forget to add a comment in my presentation, in my video. But again, don't forget to share this video with your colleagues, especially those guys working under planning or monitoring or any government institution similar to planning or monitoring and evaluation. But most important, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that when I post new video, you get notification and it becomes easy to follow. But you can contact me at any time if you have any issue related to monitoring and evaluation, particularly for M&E system in a government institution. These are my contacts, and I'll be very happy to hear from you guys. So thank you very much for your time. See you next time. Thank you.